The moment my wife called me and said, "Something's not right. They're trying to pull me over," I already knew this wasn't a normal situation. But when she added, "They don't look like real cops," my heart dropped. Because out where we live, you don't take chances with something like that. And what happened in the next few minutes turned a simple routine stop into something those fake HOA officers will never forget. Before I get into it, if you enjoy stories like this, make sure you like the video and subscribe to Karen's Stories Daily. It really helps the channel grow. And trust me, this one only gets more intense the further we go. So here's what led up to all of this. My wife and I live just outside a large HOA-controlled neighborhood. Our property is not part of their HOA, and that's something we've always been very clear about. We chose this place specifically to avoid dealing with rules, fees, and people trying to control what we do with our own land. For a long time, everything was peaceful. We kept to ourselves, and they stayed on their side. But over time, that HOA started expanding. More houses, more people, and more of that same mindset, where they think everything around them should follow their rules. At first, it was small things. Letters showing up talking about community standards. People walking too close to our property line. Survey markers appearing where they didn't belong. We ignored it because none of it applied to us. Then Karen showed up, confident, direct, and already acting like she had authority over everything she could see. She started pointing out things she didn't like. Our driveway setup, how we parked, even how we stored equipment. My wife was actually the one who spoke to her that day, and she handled it calmly, clearly telling her that we were not part of the HOA and that nothing on our property was up for discussion. Karen didn't argue. She just gave that same look we've come to recognize, the one that says, "This isn't over." And it was. A few weeks later, things escalated. More letters, more pressure, and then something new, reports. We started hearing from neighbors that the HOA was claiming we were non-compliant and causing issues for the community. None of it made sense, but it told us one thing: they were building a case. Then came the day everything changed. My wife had gone out to run some errands. Normal day. Nothing unusual. About 20 minutes after she left, I got that call. Her voice was calm, but I could hear something underneath it. She said a vehicle had started following her. Not close at first, but consistent. Then lights came on. Not standard police lights, but enough to make it look official. They signaled for her to pull over. Now here's the thing about my wife. She doesn't panic. And she knows exactly what to look for. So instead of stopping immediately, she slowed down and called me. She described the vehicle, the markings, the way the people inside were acting, and right away it didn't add up. I told her one thing: stay calm, don't get out of the car, keep the doors locked. She agreed. Then she pulled over in a visible area, not isolated, not hidden. Smart move. The vehicle stopped behind her, and two men got out, uniforms. But something about them felt off. Not quite right. They walked up to her window and told her it was a routine stop. Routine for what? They couldn't answer clearly. Started talking about community enforcement and property violations. That was the moment she knew this wasn't real. She asked for identification. They showed badges. But just like before, something wasn't right. Wrong details, wrong format, and the way they held them, like they were hoping she wouldn't look too closely. Then they told her to step out of the vehicle. That's when everything shifted. Because my wife didn't argue. She didn't panic. She just said, very calmly, "I'm not stepping out." They got more aggressive, raised their voices slightly, tried to pressure her. But she stayed completely steady. And then she did something they were not prepared for. She reached into her bag slowly and pulled out her badge, a real one, official, recognized. The moment they saw it, everything changed. The confidence disappeared instantly. The tone shifted. Because, suddenly, they weren't dealing with someone they could intimidate. They were dealing with someone who had actual authority. And my wife didn't waste a second. She stepped out of the car on her terms, identified herself clearly, and within moments, the situation flipped completely. Those two men who had just tried to control the situation were now being detained. Right there on the side of the road. Backup was called. Real officers arrived. And the truth came out fast. They weren't real police. They were private individuals, hired through connections tied back to the HOA, trying to act like authority, trying to pressure compliance, trying to scare people into giving in. And it backfired in the worst possible way. By the time I arrived, everything was already under control. My wife was calm, composed, exactly like I expected. And those two guys? They were sitting on the curb, hands restrained, looking like they finally understood how serious their mistake was. Karen showed up shortly after. And for the first time, she didn't look confident. She looked worried. Because now this wasn't just HOA pressure. This was legal. Real legal consequences. And there was no talking her way out of it. Investigations started almost immediately. Everything they had been doing, the letters, the visits, the fake authority, it all came under review. And once it did, it fell apart quickly, because none of it was legitimate. No authority, no legal standing, just pressure and intimidation. And now, proof. After that day, everything stopped. No more letters. No more visits. No more Karen showing up like she owned anything. Complete silence, because once they realized they had crossed a line they couldn't defend, they backed off completely. And the best part, nothing about our situation changed. We kept our property exactly the way it was. No compliance. No adjustments. No interference. Because sometimes people rely on fear to get what they want. They act official. They act confident. Hoping you won't question it. But the moment someone stands up and knows exactly what they're dealing with, that whole act falls apart. If you made it this far, I want to know, what would you have done in that situation? If someone tried to pull you over like that, would you trust them or question everything? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to share this story with someone who'd enjoy it. And if you want more stories like this, make sure you're subscribed to Karen Stories Daily.